What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, and we're back to conclude Jon Mark's 1992 album Land of Merlin. I very much have enjoyed this journey. It's an artist I've had in my collection for a long time, but I've never gone through the albums from beginning to end and experienced them as the narrative concept albums they are, and I really appreciate those who've been here for the journey. Kim has been here, Michaela has been here, Stuart has been here. So yes, I'm very excited to finish this album with The Vision, more on that in a moment, but also because it means we'll be on to another one of his albums, be it A Celtic Story, which I think I did one or two tracks from, or The Standing Stones of Callanish. Maybe we'll go for the Asia Journey album. Either way, I'm very excited, and as I said, the final track on the Land of Merlin is The Vision. So Farewell to Childhood being the last one, The Vision seems like a projection of what Arthur will now grow up to be, what he will fulfill in terms of his destiny as the King Arthur that we all know through his legendary exploits. So yes, I imagine this one might feel a bit forward-looking, it might sound a bit more mature and less, idyllic and rural in nature. Nevertheless, let's give it a listen. This is Jon Mark, the track is The Vision, and it's the final tune on his 1992 concept album, The Land of Merlin. Gorgeous, exquisite. I feel like these adjectives could be applied to just about everything I've heard from Jon Mark, but it is particularly true here. A shorter one, I'll say it's like 3 minutes. It does show the track listings or the durations on here. Indeed, a little bit over 3 minutes. So yes, a shorter one. The vibe that I got for the most part was acceptance, knowing who one is. So I feel like maybe this is Arthur's vision. He now knows he's going to play a significant, particularly prominent role in shaping the events of his world, of his realm, and it feels like there's a degree of confidence that comes through, and again, a sense of, this is what I am, this is who I am, and I'm now turning to look forward to the future. Now, there was still a, what's the right word? A bit of a rural feel, or sort of a mystical feel, but ultimately this one felt a bit more resolute. The idea of knowing the direction that you're headed, and a bit less mysterious than some of the other tunes, and a bit less reflective than Farewell to Childhood sounded. So again, it's incredible to me when you're working with an ambient composition, which doesn't have lyrics, or at least most ambient tunes don't, and it's not like a driving trance tune where you can get a vibe across a bit more like obviously viscerally. But yes, it feels like he really does find a way to convey the sentiment and the title of his tunes in these like melody pads and these sonic transitions along the course of a track. So yes, I very much felt a vision, looking to the future, knowing who you are, and being ready to live up to that destiny. So once again, an incredible album. I'm looking forward to, as I said, returning to a Celtic journey. Maybe, we'll go through one of the others, but either way, more Jon Mark is coming. Thank you to those who've been following this album, and I look forward to the next one. I will see you then. Peace.